Let me ask you a question. How can you have a good credit score and still receive a $500 or a $1,000 credit limit? Because the bank is not only asking whether you can manage credit, it's deciding how much risk it wants to place on your profile. I've been studying this credit system for decades, and one thing becomes clear very quickly. A score can look strong, while the profile behind it still appears limited to the institution. So today I'm going to show you why a good score can still produce a low credit limit and what the bank may be reading that your score does not reveal. And the part most people miss is this. Two people can have similar scores, but the institution can see completely different levels of exposure, stability, and available room. Same number, different interpretation. First, let's talk about the real problem. A credit score summarizes your reported credit behavior. A credit limit represents how much exposure an institution is willing to extend. Those are related, but they're not the same thing. A strong score may improve the odds of approval, but it does not dictate the amount of credit a lender will offer. Yesterday, we talked about a bank may give you a weak approval even when you're financially strong. Today, we're looking at a different decision. Why the bank may approve you but still keep your credit limit low. And even if you did not see yesterday's video, the distinction is simple. Approval answers whether the institution will extend credit. The limit answers how much exposure it is willing to provide. The bank is not only asking, can this person pay? It may also be asking how much additional exposure makes sense for this profile. The score is a number. The credit limit is a risk decision. What does the bank see when it looks behind the score? Now, here is where things get important. The bank reported to the bureaus may not be the same balance you see after making a later payment. The statement closing date and the payment due date are different. A person may pay on time and still have a high balance reported during the monthly snapshot. That reported balance can affect your utilization. A higher reported utilization may cause the profile to appear more financially compressed, even if you are making payments responsibly. The statement closing date is often the balance point the issuer uses when reporting to the bureaus, although reporting practices can vary by issuer. The due date is when the payment must be made. These are not the same thing. The key point is that the balance reported may not be the same balance you see after making a later payment. This is why paying by the due date is not always the complete answer when you're trying to understand why the limit stays low. Reason number two is existing exposure. The institution may consider the total amount of available credit and existing balances. A person can have a good score while already carrying substantial revolving exposure. Multiple cards, loans, and other obligations can change the institution's view of your capacity. The lender may evaluate the exposure visible on your credit report, the information in your application, and if you already bank with that institution, the internal relationship data it holds about you. Different lenders may have access to different information and may weigh it totally differently. The bank may not be judging your character. It is calculating how much additional exposure fits the current profile. You may feel financially capable while the bank's data shows limited room. The institution is not only looking at how well you've handled credit, it may also be looking at how much more credit it wants to place on the table. A higher score does not erase existing exposure. The third reason, recent changes. Recent applications can make the profile look active or recently changed. New accounts may not yet have a long payment history. Several changes close together can make the institution cautious. Applying for credit is not automatically wrong. The issue is applying without understanding how the complete profile may be interpreted. This is why applying for a limit increase immediately after several new accounts may not produce the result you expect, even if your score is strong. Does your profile look established, or does it look like it just changed? This is important. Reason 4, the entire relationship. The lender may evaluate the exposure visible on your credit report. That's the information in your application. And if you already bank with the institution, the internal relationship data it holds about you. Different lenders may have access to different information and may weigh it differently. Not every lender uses the same model. A good score is still relevant. The score is simply not the entire decision. The score can tell the institution something about your history. It does not necessarily tell the institution how much exposure it should give you today. Now, let me give you a quick story. Actually, let me give you the honest picture instead. You can raise your score and still receive a low limit because your reported utilization remains high, because your total exposure remains elevated, because your profile still shows recent changes, because your additional account history is not deep enough for that product, because the institution's internal relationship data has not changed, or because your application may not fit the institution's current risk model. A higher score can help, but it does not automatically solve every reason an institution may limit exposure. The score may be improving while the credit limit decision is still being driven by the rest of your profile. That does not mean you are the problem. It means the institution is reading more data than the number you were taught to watch. Here's what I want you to remember. Picture this: 2 different people, both with a 720 credit score. Profile A has high reported utilization, several recent applications, multiple existing balances, and limited available capacity. Profile B has lower reported utilization, a stable account history, fewer recent changes, and more available room. Both people may see the same score, but the institution may interpret the broader profiles much differently. Some institutions may view the second profile as presenting a more stable limit increase picture because the surrounding data is different. Same score, different surrounding data. That is where the limit decision can change. Now, before requesting a higher limit, ask yourself these questions. What balance is likely to be reported? What does total revolving utilization look like for me? How much existing exposure is already visible? How many recent applications or new accounts appear? Has the profile been stable long enough for the institution to understand it? Am I evaluating the full profile or only my score? This checklist does not guarantee a credit limit increase or even the acceptance of your application. It helps you make a decision based on one number alone, and it helps you stop seeing that this number is the thing that can actually get you across the finish line. Now listen, because the truth of the matter is, the goal is not simply to chase a higher score. The goal is to understand how the entire profile is being positioned when the institution makes an exposure decision. Same person, same habits, different positioning. And trust me, it makes all the difference. Listen, you've probably been told your problem is discipline, budgeting, or simply working harder. Those things may matter, but they may not be the root problem. The deeper issue may be a financial system you have not been shown how to see yet. So I built a free tool to help you identify which layer is creating the most friction in about 5 minutes. It's called the CBL Financial Positioning Diagnostic. The link is in the description. No cost, no pressure, just clarity for you. This video helps you understand the approval and limit problem. The CBL Wealth Blueprint is where we go deeper into the specific credit, business, and life positioning and determine what needs to be addressed first. Do me a favor, real quick, subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button because we want many people to see this so that they will be on top of this information just like you. Drop a comment below. Let me know, have you ever had a good credit score but still received a low credit limit? Tell me what happened, because I believe the more you understand what the institution could possibly be looking at, you can position yourself before you apply for the increase or the approval. Well, my friends, be blessed. I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Be blessed.